Brought to you by Penguin.
The Holocaust by Dan Stone. Read by John Sackville. Included with this audiobook is an accompanying PDF of figures and maps. Introduction. What is the Holocaust? There are no clean or unclean people, at least not in principle. There are no chosen nations. However, there are those who know of a dividing line between what is and what is not permitted, and others who not only do not know it, but who do not want to know it either. Abel Jacob Herzberg. The program of action against the Jews included disenfranchisement, stigmatization, denial of civil rights, subjecting their persons and property to violence, deportation, enslavement, enforced labor, starvation, murder, and mass extermination. The extent to which the conspirators succeeded in their purpose can only be estimated, but the annihilation was substantially complete in many localities of Europe. Of the 9,600,000 Jews who lived in the parts of Europe under Nazi domination, it is conservatively estimated that 5,700,000 have disappeared, most of them deliberately put to death by the Nazi conspirators. Only remnants of the Jewish population of Europe remain. From the indictment, International Military Tribunal, Nuremberg, the 7th of June, 1946. In the diary that she kept in Bergen-Belsen, the young Jewish Yugoslav, Hannah Levy-Haas, writes at one point of a boy whose body has been infested by fleas and who is rejected by his family. He couldn't kill the vermin that had settled on his body because he couldn't see them. They've burrowed deep into his skin and swarmed through his eyebrows. His chest is completely blackened by these fleas and their nests. We have never seen such a thing. We never imagined such a thing could occur. Everyone avoids him. His brothers and sister dread his presence, his fleas, his howling. The other night, he dragged his useless body from one bed to the other, begging people to make room for him. Everyone pushed him away in disgust. Painful story. His case is not unique. This merging of animal and human, this deeply traumatic destruction of the self and the revulsion it causes amongst others who fear the same thing happening to them, is an extraordinary description. In it, we glimpse the nightmarish consequences of Nazi persecution. In one of his stories written in the Watch Ghetto, Isaiah Spiegel describes a rabbi who, at the morning prayers, appears to go mad after having been mocked by German soldiers in the street. For a moment, Reb Bunem was paralyzed, overcome by shame and nausea. The blood rushed from his heart into his hands, which began to tremble. His eyes flashed an uncanny green flame. With a surge of preternatural strength, he suddenly turned to the praying Jews and started ripping the prayer books from their hands. The frightened Jews moved off to the side, while Reb Bunem continued tearing the psalm books from their grasp and casting imprecations on their heads. He shouted with the voice of one possessed, while in the darkness of the synagogue his beet-red face glowed with divine wrath. "Jews, stop reciting psalms! God is on the side of our enemy. God is with the Germans. I beseech you, recite no more psalms. Our world is shrouded in darkness." A rabbi desecrates the holy books and pleads with his congregants to abandon their prayers. There are still major parts of the history of the Holocaust that have not been understood in the prevailing narrative. In the region of Romanian-occupied Ukraine, which the Romanians called Transnistria, Jews were herded into pigsties, where they froze to death and suffered inescapable epidemics. They were not paid for the work they did, although payment was promised. They were robbed and often tricked into handing over valuables or clothing in exchange for food that was never provided. In Akhmechetka, driven by hunger, most of the Jews were naked in a matter of weeks, covering their hips with rags or paper. The prefect, Modest Isopescu, who preferred this camp over all the other camps in the Golte-Judet county, inspected it a few times, each time amusing himself with the fate of the prisoners. He took pictures.
Sample complete. Ready to continue?